What is a small thing everyone should know? That you'd not be so worried about what other people think of you if you'd realize how little time other people spend thinking about you. Everyone should know what it's like in the customer service industry, and what it's like to sit and get yelled at all day. They should have to experience it before they start dishing it out. Things could actually be much better if everyone would just chill the F out. Never stop dating your wife husband. However, you probably should stop dating your sister or cousin. Never be blatantly mean to a person. You never know what battles they are fighting in life, and you don't want to be the straw that broke the camel's back. In response to that, never take how others treat you too seriously. If they're going that far out of their way to make you miserable, they are obviously very unhappy with life, and you shouldn't let that disrupt your good nature. I can't stand to see a happy person upset hurt because another unhappy person made them that way. Someone can have a different opinion than you, and that is alright. You're wrong. Try turning it off and on first. Really, if you think this is a joke, it's not. It fixes 90% of problems with computers, internet, cars, girlfriends. If you have an argument with your significant other, be sure to attack the problem, not each other. My favorite is, you can't expect people to know things you don't tell them. Saves my boyfriend countless headaches. Don't burn your bridges. If you're leaving a job, be graceful regardless of how badly you hate it, or it just might bite you in the A. Truth story. Once came into work and was informed by my boss that I had been downsized. Nothing personal, and she hated it, but they didn't have enough money in the budget. Instead of freaking out or storming off, I asked if I could work the rest of the day to get all my projects to the point that someone else could easily pick them back up. I stayed busy the rest of the day trying to put all of my work affairs in order, even writing a brief how to do my job document for whoever ended up taking over my responsibilities. At the end of the day, I found out my boss was so impressed with how I took it that she went to bat for me with her boss and saved my job. If you lose a lot of weight over a few months without really trying, get thee to a doctor. Classic cancer sign that is so often ignored because the patient didn't see it as a problem. When you're at a party, this is assuming you have friends and are sociable, and you spill red wine or whatever other beverage on the carpet, do not fret. Quickly grab a glass of warm water and a towel. Pour the water directly on the spill. Next, place the towel onto the spill. Do not rub the stain in. Simply step on the towel and walk back and forth for about 10-15 seconds. The towel will soak up the water and the spilled beverage, and there will be virtually no stain left behind. My mom has a colleague who has only one tablecloth he ever uses for parties. This thing is covered in wine stains. Every time he has a dinner party, right before they begin to eat, he calls for attention, then takes his glass and spills a little wine on the table. The host has now spilled his wine. He says, "You may now feel free to make a mess without being embarrassed. I'm totally doing this when I can afford a tablecloth." That you may never know what it's like to have a certain mental disability, an anxiety, fear or experience. All you have to be aware of is that you don't understand it, no matter how much information you may have. I had a little moment around 2 years ago when I finally got this, and I guess that in itself isn't something you can particularly describe to someone either. Just try to get it through to them that best way of understanding is to not understand. So don't judge based on the processes of your mind. It won't be doing anyone justice. When you merge, you need to be going the same speed as traffic. When you get into the acceleration lane, you accelerate. Find a gap, match speed with it, signal, and ease over. If you slow down or brake in the merge lane, you are an a-hole, and you're effing everyone's sharp. I think everyone should try to learn a few basic cooking skills. Learn CPR and basic first aid. You may save someone's life one day. Save 10% of your income for emergencies only. Keep it in a savings account. Your health is very important. See your doctor at least once a year and pay attention. You can wear the same jeans for multiple days in a row without having to worry about washing them. It won't hurt you, I promise. That love, lust, and limerence are separate things. And relationships are supposed to be based on love, not limerence or lust. Limerence is when you feel gaga for someone. It's being in love with someone. It's a hormonal effect that comes and goes throughout life. Our culture goes way too far trying to idealize it, but it's not inherently better or more noble than lust, and certainly isn't as noble as love. In fact, most of the time it's like insanity. Lust is just lust. We all need to get over it. If someone gets horny, it's like they're craving drugs. It's not love, nor is it limerence, but it can happen at the same time as the other two. Having all three at once does not mean you have perfect love and should be married. Marriage should be about love and commitment. People shouldn't enter into marriage believing they will feel love, lust, and all limerence throughout. They will come and go. Love is something you can actually choose to have for someone. You don't have to wait for it like rain. People need to be taught this stuff very early in life so they don't F up their lives with the confusion. Some people are stupid, and there's nothing you can do about it. Whether they are willfully ignorant of certain facts or they simply cannot be bothered to pay attention to the details. It's best if you accept it and move on instead of dwelling on it. 11 years in retail taught me this. How to put on a condom. In all honesty, there are a surprising number of people who don't know how to do these things, especially in poorly developed countries. I remember reading an article about a girl getting pregnant because her boyfriend didn't wear a condom, because he didn't know how to put it on, and was afraid it would get stuck inside her. Guys, women don't want advice. They want to be listened to. When she has a problem, just listen. No matter how much it sounds like she is asking for advice or for you to fix her problem, because it will piss her off. Men will naturally want to fix problems, but most are woefully poor at picking up on your clues and hints. Never assume they know what you are thinking. Be clear about your intentions. If you are complaining about something, but just want to be listened to without getting any advice, just preface your rant with something to the effect of I know this is dumb but I just have to get it off my chest, and no advice will be proffered. There, I just saved you about 900,000 fights in the aggregate. You're welcome. On most computers there is a small hole below the disk drive just big enough for the tip of a paper clip to fit in. And that is exactly what goes in there. It releases the disk drive if the computer is off, broken, etc. When I learned this I was amazed. In any situation that you don't like, no matter how big or how small, you have only 3 options. Change it, remove yourself from it, or if neither of those are possible, accept it completely. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Don't point a gun at anything you don't want to shoot. Don't put your finger on the trigger unless you are ready to shoot. The difference between claim, argument and example. Disagreement with your argument does not mean disagreement with your claim opinion. Examples do not prove your claim. They are supposed to help with the understanding. Likewise, disproving my example does not disable my argument. The fundamental attribution error. You judge yourself by your intentions and others by their actions. An important thing to keep in mind in everyday life. If someone's right behind you, hold the effing door open. I've had PPL let the door slam into my face. I, on the other hand, look behind me every time I'm opening a door and hold it open for them. And if it's an elderly person taking a little time to get to the door, I'll wait patiently for them until they get there to open the door for them. Why don't more people do this? That feelings are not logical. Just because you can't understand why someone is feeling something, doesn't mean that they are not feeling it, or that their feelings are invalid. Don't belittle or ridicule your kids. It can have very negative and lasting effects. Be kind, honest, and respectful, even when they are being idiots or really screw things up. Kids are like employees. If you only ever tell them what they did wrongly, they will only worry about staying above that low bar. If you praise them when they do a good job, they will be motivated to try and receive that praise in the future. My 4-year-old recently stood in my living room and started peeing himself because he didn't adequately prioritize going to the bathroom vs playing Matchbox cars. He stood there semi-crying and said, "Dad, I'm wetting myself. I'm sorry. I forgot my own rule," and got angry at him and belittled him. I yelled. I kicked his Matchbox garage over, breaking it. I will never forget the look on his face. Such pain and sadness, and I was most of the cause for it. When I took him to get a bath, I apologized for being so mean and we had a great talk about how I wasn't mad at him. I was mad because the carpet was dirty and I was wrong for taking it out on him. He instantly smiled and told me, "That's okay, Dad, we all get angry sometimes, and I should have went potty earlier." Now, when he is playing and goes potty he tells me and I give him a high five. No accidents since.